Welcome back, my friends, to my psychology channel. Today, we're going to deal with a very important subject, and that has to do with all the rigmarole that goes with romance and all the psychology that goes with it. Now, I wrote a book several years back. It's called Love and Delusion, Real Love and Honest Lies. And it came about because of my experiences in the counseling field and psychotherapeutic fields. But the idea was this: within that book, I laid out a theory of what constitutes a romantic love. And I posited that there are three ingredients, three parts to the model of love. And the first one is, of course, the feeling, the emotion that goes with it. That is going to be one of the big problems that we will see in most love relationships. But that's the emotion, the feeling, the attachment that goes with it. The second one is the one that I suggest that is important is morals. The love relation requires a certain set of morals, and without those morals, then things are not going to work. So sometimes couples will have the feeling, that means that the feeling to love each other, to be with each other, to attach to each other. But if the morals are not there, that relationship is bound to fail, because you need the morals to guide the relationship through all the ups and downs. The morals will keep it going. And finally, you also need a set of experiences. You need experience in human relations, in dealing with brothers and sisters, with your mother, with your father, with people in general. I remember one time I read a short biography on Thomas Edison. And Thomas Edison once said that a good way to figure out the inner self of a person is to take him out to dinner and see how they treat the waiters, the waitresses, how they treat others. And he also wanted to know if the prospective person, the prospective employee, will put salt on his meal even before he has tasted it. Why do that if you still don't know what it tastes like? But anyway, the idea is that a set of experiences is very important. So the three ingredients again are the feeling, the attachment that goes with it. Number two, a set of morals that keep the relationship going all the time through all the ups and downs. And also a set of experiences that helps you to manage the relationship through all kinds of problems. All right, now the feeling itself is problematic. That means that a couple can love each other, but they can love each other only so far as their feelings allow. That means that they have to have the right kind of attachment. And there are different types of attachment levels, and some of them are going to cause problems. For example, it's not good enough to say that you're attached. It's good to be attached. Attachment feels that you have that feeling that you want to be with the other person. You want to touch the other person. You want to hug the other person. You want to kiss the other person. That's the attachment part. And part of that, of course, is also sex. But the attachment can be pathological. You would think that attachment is good. No, there are various types of attachment. And depending on the situation, the attachment can be pathological. Let me tell you the first one. The first kind of attachment that is problematic is called insecure attachment. These are people who are always asking, do you really love me? Tell me, how much do you love me? No, tell me again. Tell me again how much you love me. Do you really, really love me? Okay, that is very insecure love. That means that the person loves another one, but does not feel does not feel that he or she is loved properly, always is thinking the worst of the relationship. All right. And that is a relationship killer when you have insecure attachment of that kind. Also, that kind of attachment can lead to jealousy. Jealousy is part of that kind of insecure attachment. Like, who were you talking to? Who were you talking to? It took too long. You talked for that person for 12 and a half minutes. What is that? Let me see your phone. Let me see what the number is. Come on. See? Those kinds of transgressions are relationship killers. You need to respect the other person. If you don't respect the other person, if you don't think that they're doing the right thing, you shouldn't be with that person. But if you are, it's because you have a pathological need for that person. Because if you're gonna be with somebody who's going to cheat on you, who's going to lie to you, well, do you really want to be in that relationship? Maybe not, right? Okay. The second type of pathological relationship is the avoidant attachment relationship. That means that, yes, there is attachment on both sides, but one person tries to stay clear of the relationship. That means that that person tries to minimize contact, doesn't talk as much. Why? That person expects the worst in the relationship. Any moment they're going to criticize me. Any moment they're going to humiliate me. Well, those feelings are also relationship killers. The other person may be totally genuine and not be planning anything bad, not any kind of treachery. But the person who has that kind of an attachment, the insecure attachment, the avoidant attachment, that is going to be very problematic. The third kind of pathological relationship of attachment is the one that has a lot of ups and downs, unstable feeling. It's called disorganized, a disorganized kind of attachment. Sometimes you're hot, sometimes you're cold, sometimes you avoid the person, sometimes you're very romantic. So your partner doesn't know what to expect from you, doesn't know what to expect. And so that is also anxiety producing for the relationship. The fourth kind of attachment, of course, is the normal, healthy attachment. Now, where are the other three? Where do they come from? The other three problematic attachment types. They come from your childhood. See, children are born with an innate biological system of attachment in their brain. They are ready for attachment. They're not attached when they're born. They're more like autistic. But within about 3 weeks, that child begins to attach to its main caretaker. Oftentimes is the mother. So very soon, within a month, within 5 weeks, the child has become attached to that mother. And that is biological. It is an evolutionary survival mechanism for that child. If the child is in pain or is hungry, has a dirty diaper, it cries, and that alerts the mother something is wrong. So then she quickly picks up the child, figures out what's wrong, and attends to it. That is the attachment system that's already there. But however, once the baby attaches, that's only the first stage. There are several stages that it goes through. The second one is that it begins to want to be a little bit more independent. It wants to be a little bit more independent. So the baby wants to start taking a few steps by itself without mother's help. And the mother must let it do that on its own. It wants to be independent. Now, let's go back one step when the baby is still attached securely to mom. What happens if mother is not as nurturing as she should be and doesn't attend to the baby as much as she should? Well, then that baby grows up. It keeps on getting older and older, grows up with a very insecure feeling. like the baby's beginning to feel that its environment is not safe, is not secure. He cannot depend on the environment for his survival. That becomes part of his soul, of his personality, and that he will carry that into adulthood. And that is why when he finally finds himself in a relationship, he might say, "Do you really love me? Tell me, how much do you love me? Come on, tell me, I need to hear it." That is sad, but that is insecure attachment in adulthood. And it stems from those traumas of childhood. Freud was right. A lot of our personality is practically set in stone in the childhood years. I've seen it in many of the children in psychiatric hospitals. Children who end up in a psychiatric hospital because of the feelings that they have. Can we blame them? They went through a lot when they were in the developmental years, in the developmental stages. And now as adults, some of us are handicapped. Some of us cannot love properly. Some of us don't know how to love. We don't know how to find love, how to recognize love when it's right in front of us, and how to give love to somebody else. One final point that I would like to make is the role of respect in a love relationship. In that book that I wrote, Love and Delusion, one of the things that I said was that love is, so far from what we've seen, is very misunderstood. It is labeled many things. How many couples say, I love you at the altar? What do they say? I promise to love you forever. Is that true? No. 2 years later, they're fighting like cat and dog, divorcing each other. Wait a minute, but they promised. They promised to love each other forever. So what happened? What happened is, so the promise doesn't mean anything anymore, apparently, right? So can you really promise something that is so dependent on what your heart tells you? If your heart says, I don't love her anymore, I despise her, am I required to keep my promise to love her forever? See, that's a tricky situation. So I covered that item in my book, and I said, is there something better than love? Is there something better? Yes, there is. Respect. Having a relationship based on respect. That's what happens when a couple has been together for many years. They no longer feel that butterflies in the stomach love for each other. They no longer say, oh, when I look at you, I'm looking at a goddess or something like that. They don't feel that way anymore. They're friends. They're friends, and they respect each other. Love fell by the wayside a long time ago. They might still say, I love you. Yes, I love you. But they don't have that burning fire from the very beginning. They don't. It has changed. It has gone into a different stage. The stage of friendship, companionship, and respect. If we know that from the very beginning, maybe we should be careful how we start our relationships with others. Anyway, that's pretty much all I wanted to say today, and maybe tomorrow I can come up with a different topic for you. And if you like this little chat, please mark it like and share it with everybody. Until next time.